Hey guys, this is Bhagat, and today I wanted to answer a question sent by a brother. Um, he messaged me and he asked me this question that I thought was actually pretty interesting, and I thought I should, instead of typing out a big response to it, I thought I should actually answer it through video so that it would um, just for fun, actually. For no other reason other than just fun, and I think it would save time too, because I don't have to type it out. So he says, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. I have this thought these days. Could you share your views on it? My thought is, are we as humans only ones to have the honor of liberation? Or are there others like us in this universe who can also get liberated? My line of thinking is we hear in Katha that human is king of 84 lakh species, and he's made in the image of Waheguru himself. Is he unique? In Japji Sahib it says, Tarti hor pare hor and Ketia Karam Pumi Mer Kete Kete Tu Updesh. Means there are many more earths and Karam Bhumi like earth, so they must have humans like us. So are we still unique? I mean, share your thoughts as you do a lot of Simran. I mean, these answers appear in Simran. Please reply back when you got time. Thanks. So thanks for the question. It's a pretty big question, and you mentioned several things like liberation, like human liberation. You mentioned the uniqueness of species, and then you mentioned, you say, are we unique? Are humans unique? Are we the king of species? Right? You say we're the king of species, and you say we're made in the image of Waheguru. So that must mean we're the king of species and that we're unique, right? And then you say, yeah. So then you quote Japji Sahib. I think the lines from Japji Sahib are actually talking about something else. Tarti hor pare hor means, that's the one where that's talking about Tawal the bull, and how he supports the earth, and that there must be other earths below him if he does that. Tawal is righteousness, right? He's dharam. So that's actually talking about something else. But I get the question. I get the main gist of the question. That if there's other Karam Bhumis like this one, like Earth, then they must have other species like us, right? Let's not even go to Earth first of all. Let's not even go beyond Earth. Let's just first talk about Earth, right? Let me actually pull out your question again so I can refer to it. So liberation. Is liberation only unique to humans, right? So what does liberation mean when we're talking about it in Guru Granth Sahib, for example, or even generally in India? Liberation is simply yog. When your Atma merges with Paramatma, that's liberation. When your Atma merges with itself, with its own greater self, that's liberation, basically. And so the humans aren't unique when it comes to that, because other species go through that too. So and then, are we made in the image of Waheguru? So first of all, you have to understand what Waheguru is, right? How are we made in the image of Waheguru? First you have to understand what Waheguru is, and then you'll see how are we made in the image of Waheguru. So it's correct to say we're made in the image of Waheguru, but you have to understand what that actually means. You have to realize it before you fully will understand it, because just the words, just saying it, that's not enough. Right? Just saying that we're made in the image of something, that's not enough. You have to understand what that thing is, and you have to realize that Waheguru is just like this greater Atma, this great, big, sort of composite Atma, composed of multiple Atmas, who we are. So we're part of him, and we're combining into this whole that's called Waheguru, if that makes sense. So first you have to realize that Waheguru is basically Atma, and that you are also Atma. And once you realize that you're Atma, then you realize that other species are also Atma. They also have Atma there. So once you see Atma in yourself, you will start to see Atma reflected in other species as well. So are humans unique? Right, so that's the third part of your question. Are humans unique? Well, I would first ask, where is that thought coming from? Is it coming from a place of wanting to be unique? Do you want to be unique as a human? Yeah, basically just do Simran on this. Think about it, do Simran, and because it's true that we have different perception than other animals. We have actually one thing that we have that I think other animals may not have is this oral tradition, right? Oral tradition where our ancestors pass on knowledge to us, whether it's through speaking or whether it's through books. Our ancestors pass on knowledge to us. So if you were born as somebody who was ignorant of all these things, then you could read the books, you could talk to the ancestors or people who have knowledge of what the ancestors were saying. You could talk to people like that, and you could come to that understanding yourself without having any prior idea of what it is. So in that sense, humans, I guess, have that facility that we can consult our ancestors, we can consult the books written by our ancestors and find out what they knew and apply those teachings. In that sense, we're unique. But yeah, if you do Simran, and you practice you practice meditation techniques like that, you will realize that you're ultimately Atma. You will realize this. And I hope then you also see it reflected in other animals, and you'll really see that not just us that are made in the image of Waheguru, it's actually everything, right? So it's getting pretty bright outside, so you can probably see the trees back there, right? All of this behind me, it's all Waheguru. So, the environment will respond to you if you kind of connect to it like that, because that's all we share. We share the Atma, right? So it's all connected. We're all connected, and we're connected in a much more real way than most people think. Most people realize we're actually we're so connected. We're all actually. We all have a common this thing that's preserved throughout all species is actually the Atma, or in other words, Waheguru. So the idea of if it's unique, or if we're unique, if that helps, right? If you use the books and the oral tradition and you consult people who've already, if you consult people who kind of know what they're talking about, then I think you're taking advantage of what is unique about humans, right? If you do that, if you read books and you consult ancestors, then I think you're talking about, then you're right, then you are unique because you have that facility as a human, and use that to then advance your spirituality. And ultimately you have to let go of all ideas, all beliefs, anything that you thought was important to you. You have to let it all go because none of it is important as far as Waheguru is concerned. So if you want to reach Waheguru, you have to just drop everything that you think is related to you, or somehow important to you, or somehow part of your identity, right? You have to let all of that go, and you have to simply just be, like, push it all back, push everything back, and then find out who is the one that is perceiving all of that. That's your first step. That's what you have to do. So I hope that answers your question, and thanks for asking. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. I'll see you guys later.